Hi everyone, I'm Asha, an Akashic Records reader, blogger, and podcaster. In this series, we will demystify the Akashic Records by bringing to you bite-sized contents on frequently asked questions relating to the Akashic Records. We will also explore topics relating to spirituality, as well as practical application, learnings, and reflections in the Akashic Records. My Akashic Masters are very excited to join us in this journey. We send much love, light, and blessings to all. Welcome to episode 66 of Case Study 19 of Unlocking the Abundance That Your Soul Deserves with Geraldine. This is the third themed Akashic Records session with Geraldine. On the first query, she asked, "What is the contract between Geraldine and her husband for this lifetime?" The contract is one of unconditional love and compassion for each other, to strive to reach a level of mutual understanding that transcends beyond conditional giving and taking, towards a deeper bond of unconditional love and compassion for each other, to hold the space for each other, to accept that no one is perfect in their own soul's journey towards self-mastery. Everyone may make mistakes, errors, and judgments. There's no need to scold or have harsh words or judgments for each other, but really holding the space for each other to learn and grow. This lifetime is very short and precious to be together in this contract of marriage. It is a very sacred vow and union between souls that ought to be cherished. Because after one lifetime passes, not all souls get to repeat the same kind of relationship with each other in successive lifetimes. Geraldine asked what should she do to improve the relationship. Geraldine agreed to explore her husband's purpose in her life and vice versa, because that will help her to appreciate something deeper in context, to see what's the issue and how can she improve. On what is her husband's purpose in her life, he has to learn to extend that unconditional help, patience, and compassion for you. Initially, it can be somewhat an onerous job because he's not used or he's getting used to having you around as an intimate part of his life. There's the adaptation phase for couples, many years or even decades into the marriage, to really know each other better. His role is to really take the time to learn to extend the unconditional help, patience, and compassion for you, to hold space for your own growth, as well as his own growth. He is also trying to appreciate that no one is perfect. To search for perfection is an elusive notion. It is somewhat deceptive. When we see our future partner upon marriage, it somewhat looks like perfection. But then, the perfection is crushed years into the marriage. Then we realize, after all, we are humans. We make mistakes. We sometimes yell at each other, cannot hold space for each other, exchange sarcastic remarks. It is part of a human experience. As for the deeper learning of patience, compassion, unconditional love and help for each other, it is what a lot of souls have to learn and recognize from their counterpart. The whole idea is oneness. As we pore through and try to work out the differences with each other, it feels so elusive, like you are you, I am me. We are separate beings. But the more we try to work out the differences with each other, the more we recognize that we are all vulnerable. We are all humans. We have the same blood. We share the same soul. And ultimately, we all want to return to Source. To go through the differences, then come to the state of oneness. That's what a lot of souls go through and signed up for. As for Geraldine's purpose in his life, while she gives in to his needs, listen to each other, it is not to the extent of overextending herself or selling her own soul. So she's trying to somewhat assist him in his soul's journey, while maintaining her healthy boundaries for her self-discovery and enrichment. How can she assist? Just by her presence, by being there for him, by helping one another out through difficult times, by being there for each other through hardships or ordeals. Even when there are judgments towards or confrontations with each other, it is all pushed aside. Ultimately, the love is being prioritized between the couple, which transcends all the bickering. The love that both of you have as a soul transcends all these. In all, she's trying to find a balance to commit to the relationship in a healthy way, but not overextending herself. Both souls are trying to work with one another to learn and grow together. The contract of marriage is a sacred union between souls that ought to be cherished. In difficult times, it is a reminder that the souls truly love one another to the extent that they vow to come together and sign up to be husband and wife in this lifetime. So remember to see him as this greater soul that signed up for this with you. Both of you are like mirrors to each other, sometimes reflecting to each other the inadequacies or issues to work on. So that's why sometimes we feel annoyed with each other. It is not because that person is innately evil, ill-disciplined, foul-mouthed, or argumentative by nature. But maybe there is something unresolved within us. That's why we feel triggered. So rather than to cast the blame automatically on others, take a few steps back, retreat into our own space, and reflect what is it that this person's behavior is triggering within us right now. At every stage, the learning may be different. Sometimes The issue of forgiveness may come up because of what happened in our childhood days. The husband's choice of words might have triggered our memories and inner child wounds, which made us feel very annoyed. Then we feel, "Why are you like that?" But it is history repeating itself. Wounds that were not reconciled back then flaring up. So we can see in this context, what is Geraldine's husband reflecting back to her? The master shared that her husband is trying his best, even though his best is not her level best. He's trying to be less argumentative, more reconciling, give and take. It is not easy, especially for dominant personalities. On how to improve the relationship, play a listening ear to him. Listen more, judge less. Listen for his perspectives in, say, a conflict or where both parties seem to have diverse opinions. Pause first. Listen to his perspective. Listen to the entirety of what he has to say and seen in his context before we jump in with our opinions. We can say things like, "I acknowledge your opinions. What you are saying is this and that." To try to summarize to understand what he's trying to say, instead of jumping to conclusion. So Master said that when we pause a little, try to remind ourselves, listen more, judge less. It will help us to slowly become a neutral observer with everyone. Ultimately, everyone wants to be heard. If we don't maintain our auric fields through meditation, for seemingly toxic people, we may feel very vulnerable when they want to control us or project their thoughts and opinions onto us. So we have to strengthen our auric fields in meditation. Further, we need to realize that we don't have to take on other people's baggage. When we listen, it is purely to listen. It doesn't mean we have to take on someone's baggage or find a solution for them. It can ultimately be a case of no solution. But you are essentially providing an outlet for the person to discover the solution to his problem within himself. Sometimes we feel that when we play a listening ear to others, we have to take care of them and find solutions for them. And then we feel very tired or exhausted because the boundary is crossed and they project their opinions and energies onto us. We feel very vulnerable, like the more we give in, the more we end up exhausted. That's when we have to internalize. How much more do I need to do for this person? What does it mean by playing a listening ear? Can we purely listen without offering a solution? Why are we so desirous of jumping in with a solution? Do we even need to take care of others' baggage on their behalf? Does it make a difference does it truly benefit them? In addition, learn to communicate your needs to him. As introverts, we can be shy to expressly or openly share our burdens with others. We feel it's difficult for us to express our needs to others. We tend to worry or fear if the person will judge us, or will we be seen as weak, or is it worth the hassle to go through this process? Should we just put on this brave front and take everything on? But we end up suppressing a lot within us. When we don't share our needs openly, people take us for granted because they are unaware that we are suffering. They think like you're so strong, so level-headed, you can take it. They think that your threshold is sky high because you never communicate. Then we end up taking on until we cannot take on anymore. It is maximum limit. Then we explode like volcano, and the other person feels shocked. Like, what's wrong? I thought you were fine previously. Masters are saying it is important to maintain healthy boundaries for your soul, because your soul thrives in such sacred spaces that you create for yourself, for your daily ritual or practice. It is where you take comfort and solace in. After a busy day, you feel very exhausted and drained. The last you want is to end up in a confrontation with others, which is inevitable if we are in a common space, because we take on others' energies unknowingly. For example, if we are in the living room, some of the family members there may have had a bad day, so you end up picking up the vibes as a sensitive soul. And that is very stressful, because innately we want to please others. We don't want to be so negative. So when we are surrounded with them, it makes us in a very difficult position. We want to please, but we can't please. We are also very exhausted. We want to retreat into our sacred space to refuel, recharge, just be with ourselves, and feel ourselves in that process. Geraldine shared that it's very hard for her to connect with her sister-in-law and brother-in-law, which she felt weird initially because she usually gets along with people. That's because every soul has differing needs and expectations. So, for example, if a soul's needs and aspirations are more of the monetary, tangible sense, we may feel tired because we feel like we are talking on different grounds, speaking a different language, or having a different frequency. For example, not all souls appreciate the value of meditation, spending time with yourself, your energy bodies. People may not fully appreciate the work that you're doing for yourself, even for others. We are similar. Ultimately, we are one. We come from the divine spark of God. but we can transform into different variants depending on what our focus and lessons are. Through all the lifetimes that everyone has been through, every soul will draw different conclusions. Sometimes, unfortunately, it can be warped conclusions that they have to figure out in this lifetime. Like some people may feel that the 3D world is everything. We are here to live, make a living, earn a lot of money, and after that we use the money to buy a house, a car, etc. Every conversation is about getting money, promotion, etc. Understand that every soul is learning different lessons at different paces. So we have to give and take. Hold space for them, but not to the extent of burning yourself. You need to find your sacred space to nourish yourself. When you meditate, you also fill your energy bodies with light. When you're in a good space energetically, that's when you're so filled with light that you can communicate with others without feeling drained. In the end, you may realize that the trade-off is worthwhile. Then maybe it is better that you spend half the time in your own space rather than to spend your entire time mingling with others outside. And that is your way of cherishing your own light. Ultimately, our energy bodies are all light, different light bodies. On Geraldine's second query, she asked, how to be more abundant in this lifetime? Specifically, Geraldine feels that she's always chasing for money. It is not enough. She spends money like water for other people, including her family who needs it, though it comes to her easily. The Masters shared that Geraldine has a very generous personality. When it comes to money, sometimes a little happy-go-lucky. So she gives to others very generously. In a past life, she had taken on a vow that it is a sin to receive money for herself, for her own needs. I was shown an image of a lady in brown hair, wearing a white dress with blue lines and white headgear, somewhat like Mother Teresa's attire. It feels like the lady was working in a holy temple as a priestess, a very sacred role, because white depicts purity, purity in body, mind, and soul, in thoughts, speech, and action. So that whole vow towards purifying her own soul, in her thoughts, speech, and action, body, mind, and soul. And a related vow not to receive money, because it is kind of evil. It is a sin to keep it for herself and not to share it with others. That was what you took on, which formed an energetic imprint in your subconscious mind, that it is a sin or wrongdoing for you to be associated with a lot of money, to spend it lavishly on yourself. If any, it has to be shared with others. how can we release that vow or the past? So long as you set the intention to do so during meditation, it is released. Your soul is ready because now you have recognized and have full awareness of the past life that happened, the vow that you have taken on willingly. At this stage of your life, if you are willing to let go of the vow, you simply do. You can set the intention that I release all vows, promises, commitments that I have knowingly or unknowingly taken on in past and present lives. And that includes the vow not to receive money, that it is a sin to be associating me with money, that I must be sharing all my money with everyone else. Everything is a matter of proportion and healthy balance. We're not saying that henceforth we should not share with anyone else. There can be some for others, and majority is for you, because you worked hard to gain the abundance. You want to build it for something. And as the caretaker of your money, you know how to grow it for better use for the long term. So it is not a sin to keep the bulk for yourself, because you're growing it to harvest one day in future. Maybe you might have better use or plans for the money, as opposed to dishing them out to family members who say they need the money but may not appreciate it. They didn't see it as precious, and they don't really know how to take care and make full use of the money, because it comes so easily to them, like striking lottery. See it that way to help you to reframe your perspectives. During your meditation, you can release that vow. Anytime you feel it came up again, you release that, because your intention is very powerful. Also, we learn to appreciate things in context. When family members come to us, we learn to realize that there is no harm holding on to the money as a caretaker for the longer term. You have the ability to put it to better use, to harvest when the time is ripe in the long term. So why not do it yourself, rather than to delegate or pass it to someone else? On the third query, Geraldine asked, how to be more abundant in this lifetime? Specifically, Geraldine has been afflicted with a lot of health issues. First, she has early menopause, so she couldn't conceive. Second, she has autoimmune issues, which cause allergies to flare up, joints to become very stiff, water retention, etc. Until now, it is not fully recovered. Do masters have any advice on all this? The physical body takes a long time to heal. It is also very difficult to manifest that healing in reality, because we really have to internalize and practice how to take care of ourselves deeply in all areas of our life. and to really maintain healthy boundaries. There was a long period of time when you were very stretched, tired, and exhausted. You gave in to others much more. You depleted yourself energetically to the extent that your physical body became very susceptible to all kinds of illnesses. You feel that there's seemingly no end in sight to all kinds of possible new conditions that might appear in the body. That is not because your body is weak by nature. That is because we are very susceptible energetically. Because the root issue is back then, we didn't know how to take care of ourselves. We kept pouring in ourselves, depleting our energy at work, at home, with family, friends, colleagues, everywhere. For many years, we exhausted ourselves, didn't maintain healthy boundaries. Now we realize that we are important. We place and prioritize ourselves first. We try to maintain healthy boundaries. The healing will not come so fast. It will take a long time. Because for that healing to happen in the physical body, you have to take care of the energy bodies first. The masters are encouraging, in your case, if you're open, to sign up for Tara's body and organ healing course. It is energy healing. There are energetic commands to run. That may be a good start for you. Sometimes we go through certain illnesses to derive certain lessons from it. It is part of your soul's learning and growth to go through this hardship. Not all hardships are just suffering. Some of them might be opportunities. So your hardship now, you feel like suffering, trying to find a solution, but no solution in sight. Trying a lot of different modalities or offerings by different people to find a solution. But it can also be an opportunity to equip yourself with some skill sets so you become independent. You know how to heal yourself energetically and also heal others in time to come. And open up your pathways and perspectives to this whole new world out there that somehow you feel drawn to but a bit scared to venture inside. Whether you are good enough, whether it's entirely true or not, we are not 100% sure. But you have a certain level of trust and awareness deep in your consciousness. That's why you're drawn to the Akashic records, and you believe deep within you there may be a solution through a session here. The purpose is not for you to be dependent on me. I'm here to facilitate you in your own path to be independent, to open up your pathways and realize for yourself, I'm a divine sovereign being. I have full powers and worthiness to dabble and practice in these modalities to heal myself and to heal others. In your case, your illness is not suffering. It is an opportunity. So if you see it in that way, it will really positively light up your life and your pathways. The Masters remind that you are a star seed. You came from the stars. Don't forget that when the going gets tough. Don't think that you're just a human being born here to live, suffer, and die, which we took on from others. There's more to it. And what exactly is your soul trying to achieve and benefit yourself and others in this lifetime? For all these chronic illnesses, your physical vessel is being used as a tool to experience what suffering is all about, and through that, to transcend the suffering through the eyes of wisdom. Like, what is there for the soul to learn? What are the tools that I can equip myself with? How can I benefit myself and others from my experiences? My precious experiences are like my treasure chest, because one day a similar soul suffering the same, I can offer invaluable advice from my own experience. So you can benefit other souls experiencing similar difficulties in their soul's journey. So it is very precious. All these illnesses, setbacks, challenges, and suffering that you've been through and even going through now. On Geraldine's last query, we checked in with her masters if they have any final words for her. Keep practicing what you're already doing. Keep an open heart and mind to what awaits you in the future, because the future is not cast in stone. You have everything it takes to create your present reality, and from there, the future will lead its way by itself. Next, we went on to the healing segment. At Geraldine's request, we focused the healing on, first, clearing the vow, and second, her illnesses such as autoimmune, menopause, etc. We went through a guided meditation where we called upon Geraldine's Akashic Masters, guides, archangels, angels, and all pure light beings to surround her in a circle of oneness and light. We connected to the gold light of the Akasha, allowing it to flow into her entire space and to balance her main chakras, releasing all density, programming, and cause that no longer serve us, be it from past or present lives, or taken on from others. Next, we released all vows, promises, and commitments taken on in past or present lives, not aligned to her highest good to keep, including the vow not to receive money, that it is a sin to be holding on to money and lavishing it on ourselves. We also ran the Akashic Light clearings and activations, which are energetic commands to assist us to heal and shift on a physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual levels as aligned to our highest good. For this, we ran the Akashic Light clearings and activations for immune system, reproductive system, hormones imbalance, nervous system, endocrine system, meridian flush, and menopause. So these are the body and organ healing, which works primarily on the physical body, which Geraldine requested. We also work on her emotional and mental bodies by releasing the fear, the worries, to assist her to activate the belief in miracles in terms of her physical healing, and that nothing is impossible. We also ran the clearings and activations to enhance the self-worthiness within, that she's deserving of the physical healing. Thank you for tuning in to this podcast. If you would like to read about my dialogues and reflections with the Akashic Masters, you can visit my free blog at asha-akashicrecords.com. Till next time, take care.